Yeah, I was just reading through the book of Romans just the other day and was pretty stunned by what I read concerning man's posture, his stance between himself and with God, his creator, his maker. Apparently, the Apostle Paul, who wrote the book of Romans and many of these other letters to different churches during a period of the Roman Empire, a couple thousand years ago, over there in Israel and Syria and Rome and Asian Minor and even Greece, the Grecian peoples. I don't know if he ever made it to Egypt. It doesn't record that it was in Egypt, but maybe the Gnostic Gospels covers some of that, some extra areas that he visited. But he mentions that all mankind in its totality, every single person on the earth that's ever lived, ever been born, is still alive, has no excuse not to know that there is a God and that he exists. A God that created everything that we see and experience and know instinctually. He says that men are without excuse because we see God's existence is evidenced by the things that are made. When we look around and see trees and planets and stars and the sun and other creatures, and that it's a testimony to us not coming about through random chance, evolutionary processes, gradually over millions and billions of years, but it was a deliberate act of creation. It was a plan that was put together and it was implemented. And it's much more evident now than it was 2,000 years ago because of powerful microscopes and what we're able to see on a molecular level, how we're able to see the actual blueprints of life, which is DNA and molecules and atoms. We can see the microscopic world, which they didn't have the privilege hundreds and even thousands of years ago. They didn't have that privilege of knowing the minute details of a living system, a living entity. But now we know that things are a lot more complex than we realized. That even Darwin realized. Charles Darwin didn't even see, because of technology wasn't available during a couple hundred years ago when he was around. So he didn't really have the privilege of seeing how complex things were on a molecular level. But it's like a computer program. Now that we have computers and sophisticated computers, we understand that the DNA, which is the actual blueprint for the construction of our bodies, and it's even more complex than blueprints for general contractors and builders. They build structures and they build condos and houses and buildings based on blueprints, maps, and they have to be very careful how they construct it in accordance with those blueprints for it to work correctly. And our DNA is even more complex than that. And it was so who the question is who's the